Hello everyone. So, as you may know, since April 2023, I am officially a software engineer. I finished my studies and at the end of them found a job where I work at right now. And before that point, I still wrote code for some money as a freelancer. But that wasn't really software engineering, it was more like creative development. And I thought this job would be kind of the same, like writing code in the goal of creating something. This, for example, is the last project I worked on as a freelancer, where I was in charge of developing the 3D stuff, the little ball you see there. By the way, I might talk about that in another video at some point. So if you don't want to miss it, and because I also love fake internet points, please subscribe. I love the little numbers going up. Who doesn't? But yeah, to fall back on my feet, I thought a software developer job would be very similar to this. It's separated into different projects, you have a list of features or things you would like to achieve for that project, and after a few meetings or whatever of pre-planning what you're gonna do, I don't know, like the corporate shit word stuff, you just get to coding and you create stuff. Right? Well, this really was what I thought it was going to be. Well, turns out when you're a software developer, yes, there is some of that. It would be a very hypocrite move of me to say that this is not the case. But for the moment, and it is actually in the job description, you don't really create stuff as a software engineer. You solve problems. And by that, I mean, most of you will know this wonderful tool right there, Jira, right? This ticket manager that is used in so many different companies, maybe dreaded by some people. The first time I had access to this, I realized I wasn't going to create stuff as much as I thought I was going to be. Debugging obviously is a big one, but also you have to understand that most of the time you arrive in a already established code base that multiple very talented, way more talented than you, developers worked on before, and you have to navigate in those gigantic files, not really knowing where to go or what to do, and understand what is the problem at hand. So debugging can be part of it, remaking some infrastructure, or simply updating some stuff to newer technologies. And when you were in school, I think we don't really talk about that. We do talk about algorithm, the maths behind it, the different technologies, but that huge thing of being able to navigating through gigantic code bases and not lose yourself and your self-respect and your confidence and everything that you believe in is actually something very, very complicated, but apparently insanely normal in this industry. Like recently at my work, I was faced with a gigantic task that was just a few lines in the Jira code, but it was very explainful. God damn, spelling bee champion. Look at me. There is no I. Okay. So yeah, I was faced with this ticket that was just like small and I thought I knew where I was gonna be. Turns out this ticket took me 3 months, still working on it, by the way, and it took me so many retries to even understand where the data is coming from and where it is going and why we need to do that. And during this time of being alone, working on this is where the imposter syndrome starts to kick you heavy in the nuts, right? In the nutsack. And during all of these 3 months, I wasn't pissing lines and trying left and right over my screen. I was researching, trying to understand conventions of what I wanted to try to do, see if there was any examples online or whatever. And since it was so specific to this gigantic code base, obviously there wasn't. And being so used to actually doing this, like pissing lines, creating shit, it felt so unproductive. And by the end of it, and I was trying to show my progress to managers or whatever, me thinking that I didn't have nothing to show, I was faced with very experienced developers who told me, hey, yeah, welcome to the actual fucking job. Software engineering doesn't mean writing code. Again, it means solving a problem. To solve a problem, you first have to understand it. And that might be the biggest part of a particular ticket that you are working on. Talking about a ticket, just like if anybody knew what I was talking about, essentially a task for the not code bros out there. I know there are like, what, maybe 2 watching? Hi people. But yeah, I was faced with this new reality that taking your time to actually understand what you are doing is way more important than actually trying to push that your pull request to GitHub, whatever the kids say these days. And yeah, this big old task that maybe would have been way faster for someone better than me. God knows there are many of them. But yeah, I don't think this is something school prepares us for. Like literally sitting down, I talked about it in my last video, just reading docs, for example, understanding an issue and taking the time to navigate around and actually find the information. So yeah, if you love writing code and only love to do that, not reading docs, just doing like face down algorithm problems or whatever, honestly stick to lead code and don't become a software engineer. It's as easy as that. And I have to admit, I made that mistake in the past coming into this thinking like, yeah, I know I'm good. I gotta be okay, like writing a couple of like algorithms for a company, right? No. So yeah, this little rant/video was just to talk about this big thing that is patience and actually understanding what you are working on. Cool. I think that's it. So yeah,